What is your leadership style? Or how would you describe your leadership style? Or what is your management style? This is an interview question that for me falls into the category very easy to answer for the most part, but also very impactful. It's the type of question that, although easy, if you get it wrong, you absolutely will not move forward in the interview process, because if they are asking it, it's important. Let's go. Hi everybody, I'm Ben White with Ben Talks Talent. I've got 12 years experience in interviewing, hiring, and recruiting, and I'm passionate about using my experience to help you become the best candidate possible and land your next job. In today's entry into the interview question and answer playlist, video series, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be talking about the interview question, how would you describe your leadership style? It's incredibly important because if they're asking you, it matters. But before we get into the video, do me a favor. If you are new here, take 3 seconds, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss one of my free videos that are all designed to help you. And if you are not new, well, hey, welcome back to the channel. It is so good to see you. First and foremost, the why. I always like to start with the why when it comes to an interview question because you need to think for the company. Whenever you're asked an interview question, think 2 things. Why am I being asked this? And how would I answer it, not in general, but for this organization and this role? Okay, so the why here. The why here is you are either going to be in leadership or you're going to be moving into a leadership role. And it's probably incredibly critical. So it's not one of those things where you can be a bad leader, but good at the rest of your job and succeed. If you're a bad leader, you're not going to be a fit for this role. So it's incredibly important. That's the why. They want to make sure that they feel good about what you can accomplish as a leader. So answering it right, you got to do it. Now let's get into the steps. Now, generally speaking, the best managers are flexible, right? They can be strong, but they can be agile. They can adapt. Every employee is different. So in order to be effective as a leader, you have to be able to move your leadership style around. Some things are going to work well with an employee, but they're not going to resonate with another. So you have to figure out what's important to people, what matters to them, and how you can lead them individually. So just from a methodology perspective, I always feel like that's really important to share. But that's just step 1. Step 1 is just like looking at leadership. What makes a good leader? There's that. So then you need to incorporate that into your style. So step 1 in answering this question, besides thinking about leadership, as a thought exercise here, is laying the foundation. You need to start by answering this interview question by telling them, the way I would describe my leadership is I am kind of the coaching leader. I have come to the conclusion that you need to grow your people. When you're managing a diverse group of people, they're all going to be different. They'll have different strengths and weaknesses and different levers in terms of getting the most effective responses out of them. So you have to learn your people and you've got to coach and grow them. So I would say I'm a flexible, lead by example type of leader who places a premium on flexibility and being the most effective version of yourself for that person, right? That's a little bit wordy, but you get what I'm saying. You have to lay that foundation. Follow that up by step 2. Now, step 2 is an example. You need to give an example of the time that you're a leader. So you can start by saying, my style of leadership is servant leadership. I feel that it's really important as a leader to serve my people and put them in position to succeed. And by doing that, we will all be successful. An example of that is when I first started with my last company, I had 3 people and they were all very new. So what I did was I spent time learning with them, going through and doing their actual activities with them and kind of serving them. Through just effective coaching and leadership, we were able to experience significant success. And because of that, we were able to grow the team. So in the first 18 months I was there, we grew the team from 3 people to 9 people, tripling in size while exceeding all of the KPIs that my management team put in front of me in terms of performance objectives. So what you did there was, and again, I gave you kind of a different example. Instead of saying I'm a coaching, this was servanthood. I'm a servant leader. So I gave you an example of that. And then we talked about an example of how you've been effective. So it can be how you coached people, how you grew your team, how you turned around an employee who was a low performer into a top performer, right? But what you want to do is step 1, lay the foundation for your leadership style. Step 2, give an example that reinforces what you said in step 1, showing that you are in fact an effective leader. Now, the last thing I want to say on this is you need to align it with their values. So whenever you're interviewing with a company, you need to be incredibly familiar with their values or their culture, right? Because if they have it enough to broadcast it, if they've got a whole page on their website, or they put more effort into it, well, then you know it's important to them. So you need to look at those values. So a lot of companies will actually have their cultural values on their website. So go to their website and find them. There might be something there that is leadership related. And if you're interviewing for a management role and you don't go to the company values or company culture page and look at their values and see if any of that is related to management, you're missing the boat. But let's just say, for example, you go to their values page and integrity is there, right? So doing the right thing. Well, it's so easy for you to weave that value into your example of how you're an effective leader. So that's tip 3. Tip 1 is talking about your style from a high level perspective. Step 2, reinforce that with a story of how you've been a capable leader in the past. And then step 3, if there are any values or anything culture-wise that you think makes sense to add to your answer in order to show not only am I a leader, but I'm a leader that's going to lead in a way that is consistent with your culture, that is a strong way to hit it with a 1, 2, 3 punch. There you go. That's everything you need to answer this interview question. Good luck in your next interview. You got this.